Hello, welcome to Wyverns and Weirdos, a D&D podcast set in the world of Fierlor. I am your Dungeon Master, Darby, and joining me as always are Laura, playing Bertie, Mitch, playing Caius, Eddie, playing Anya, Jake, playing Neumann, and Zoe, playing Ross. Let's jump into it. So, where we last left off, the party went on a rescue mission to rescue Caius and discovered that he had managed to break out of his cell himself when they came across Butterflaw. And they caught up with each other, and Bertie and Caius made out while everyone else fought the guards. And then ran off, teleporting finally back to the bathhouse, where everyone had a nice big group hug. That was what we left on. So, what would folks like to do in the immediate aftermath of the of teleporting into the bathhouse?
Yeah, well, I'll just quickly butt in. So as you said, we ended on a group hug, and Bertie, for Bertie, I guess, Bertie only stopped holding Caius's hand when Anya kind of pulled him in to hug Caius before everyone kind of got in on that action. So in the group hug, Bertie had let his sword clatter to the ground. I kind of imagine he had the shield sort of strapped to his back while they were escaping. And he's now sort of, by this point, sort of burrowed back into Caius's side in as tight as a hug as his little body can manage. And the moment he manages to, he'll try to kind of snake his hand to hold his hand again. His face just sort of pressed tightly against Caius's chest because short. And he doesn't say anything during all of this. He's just kind of taking in the warmth of Caius being here again. So that's what Bertie was doing at that point, but he's still very quiet. Small.
In a similar vein, Caius is also not making any sort of noises. He is embracing and being embraced by his friends, and letting that experience happen, and just sort of breathing in both fresh air and the scent of family and sweat
And blood. Particularly from Sam and Neumann. Blood.
Yeah, it's a fair amount of blood.
Is there anything folks would like to achieve within the bathhouse, or are you going to aim to leave as soon as possible?
Jake, you've gone for your mic several times, which is why I haven't unmuted. Did you have something to add from the hug?
My internet is very choppy, so every time I go to speak, someone's already speaking. So, and you're all frozen right now. So,
well, we can hear you. So
I can hear you though. But yeah, that's why.
Well,
yeah, excellent.
Do your thing.
Neumann might ask for a quick, hey, can anyone do a little bit of prestidigitation, as he might do some first aid on himself to kind of stop the blood trail. He doesn't really want to lead a path of like a trail of breadcrumbs from where we went and ended up and such. So, and he'll quickly patch up anyone else that's like profusely bleeding.
If we are going to catch our breath for about 10 minutes, I can cast some group healing. Otherwise, I would suggest maybe if Ross can teleport us back base.
We should probably get out of here as fast as we can, Bertie says from his little spot that he's tucked in. But he does kind of like, he doesn't even look away, but he does like move his hand to where Neumann was talking and start to prestidigitate the ground around him.
Yeah, Ross will like kind of unwedge herself from the hug because she's a big hugger, and she'll just kind of look around the group and assess everyone. Be like, oh, Anya's not injured at all. Oh, everyone else is very injured. Cool. Either emotionally or physically or both. And then she will, also prestidigitation up some of the floor and then like stand up straight and just be like, well, do we want to go back to the phrasing. I don't believe I can teleport us straight back to where we were this morning, but I can take us back to Bertie's room and then we can go home for a bit.
Yeah, we can do that if you want. I can cast that again. Might still be up by now.
Think so. Alright.
I'll let them know what happened. Just get us back.
Alright, everyone.
Anya, I will note she was still like wrapped up, like in the hug, literally until that point where she just sort of pulls away a little bit, and then kind of realizes that everything's sort of moving again. And when she mentions sort of reporting what had happened, she sort of straightens a little bit, not unlike herself, not in a stiff way, but just more in a like, she had let her guard down, and now she's back in business mode. And she gives like Caius a little sort of pat before she properly pulls away.
Alright, everyone, get close, get close. I gotta think real hard. I don't want anyone straying too far from me, yeah?
What?
And she does look at Caius, and by extension Bertie, as they are now mostly one unit, and just kind of reaches over and gives him a little like pat on the least injured looking part of his shoulder. Because as much as he didn't get hurt in that last combat, I don't assume he's healthy at the moment. And she's just gonna say, ready to go home? Ish?
So Caius has pretty much since we last teleported and we sort of started the group hug, he's had his eyes sort of shut. Just sort of living in the moment. And as he gets tapped on the shoulder, he's just going to sort of open them slightly, and let a little tear just sort of roll out from one of his eyes, and just go, I am.
Alright. Home-ish, here we come. And she does the arcane symbols and hopefully takes us back to Bertie's room.
Alright. So there's no glyph, but you have an associated person. So there's no failure on the spell's part. I also rolled the very slim chance of intercity transport going wrong. And nothing occurred there.
Good.
It's
Phew.
it's more so teleporting into and out of the city that is a danger.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so Ross teleports us directly into Bertie's... Well, no, Bertie's room was the mansion.
So I guess
Yeah, would it
just
still be
outside
up,
the
I
door.
guess?
It would.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
It hasn't been 24 hours yet.
Oh, yeah. True, that's right. So it's not a concentration spell. Yeah, 24 hours.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, Ross would have landed us just outside the door to the Magic Mansion. Like, the door to Bertie's room, which is the Magic Mansion. And then she will also, like, once we land, look up and kind of have that look on her face. She always gets after a teleport where she's like, haha, it worked. And then she is just going to reach out and give Sam and Neumann both little pats on the arms, and she's going to cast a couple Cure Wounds on those boys.
Okay.
At a... Oh, fuck it, 5th level. Oh, I don't have Cure Wounds, I have Healing Word. That's the one I meant. Apologies. So, Sam is going to get 18 points of healing, and Neumann is going to get 21 points of healing.
And Sam's going to start the process of a prayer of healing.
Okay.
Which at the end of 10 minutes will... Whoa! So that's at an 8th level. That is 50 points of healing to anyone who needs it.
So 50 points to each individual
Yes.
that needs it? I'll
Yes.
take it.
Anya, she kind of, once we're teleported, she stands for a moment just listening to sort of everyone gathering themselves and to Ross doing a couple of quick heals, and then she straightens up again and she's like, okay, I will return. I will let Yaden know what happened. Don't wait up. It might take a bit.
But he does kind of detach himself. Thank you.
Of course. And Bertie would feel like the familiar sort of brush of gust of wind against his fingers that she's done before. And she sort of turns to leave, and then like kind of stops for a second, and she turns back around and she's like, not something I usually would say to the group of you. I'm very proud of you all. You did well. It's good to have you back, guys. See you all soon.
It's good to be back. Thank you.
And she trudges downstairs off to go see Yadel and Promise and whoever the fuck else is around.
That's very fair. Excellent.
Alright.
But he just kind of looks around. He's like, It looks around just at everyone standing around. Like, if people want to use that, the spell should still be going. I cast the house spell, Caius. If that's it's a bit more privacy than a little room, I guess. But if you want a little room, that's fine too.
I've been in a small box for a while. Be happy to go anywhere, really.
Yeah,
As long as it's with you all.
yeah. Yeah, let's let's go in. And Bertie opens the door which opens up into the big Bertie's mansion and the garden leading into it.
So I had a
It's
rule
no
for
longer
just
raining.
Yeah, I just had a really weird thought. You could technically have 2 of these up at once.
Okay, like 2 mansions.
Yeah. There's nothing stopping you having multiple up as long as you've got the spell slots, or in your cases, the use of Mystic Arcanum.
Huh, that's weird. Interesting.
So 1 mansion for us and 1 mansion.
Yeah, that's it.
All of Newman's friends. That are made of robot parts.
Yeah, precisely. Yes, well, Bertie opens the door. It's no longer raining.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, if people want to go in, that's fine. If you want to go to your own room, that's fine too. I don't. This was a big thing. You all look pretty beat up.
I'll put tea on.
I'll help.
Okay. Cool. All right. But he kind of like tugs at Kai's hands, like, "Come with."
Caius will just sort of, still looking around at everything, will just kind of nod his head, and then look over at Bertie and keep nodding, and then we'll just follow Bertie.
Excellent.
Sam is going to cast message towards Neumann and say, "Neumann, come help with tea."
Well, I was actually thinking maybe starting the pillow fort, going around collecting the pillows. I think that's all we can get out.
Again, a message from last night. "I'm not trusting you initially with this. Come help with tea."
Well, yeah, actually, I should probably be able to fashion together an invention that can cook tea very... As he toddles along towards Sam, fiddling around with various components, as he wants to get this over and done with as quick as possible.
Ross strides in, and it's not like she's trying to avoid people, it's like she's very purposely being like, Bertie and Caius need some alone time, but I also feel like being like, alone, like, I want to be near Caius too, so I'm just gonna go to the kitchen, but I'm gonna make tea really slowly, so Neumann would see Ross taking like forever to be like, this tea. Take out 1 bag, put it back. Oh, someone wants the same tea? Take out the box. Take out a bag, put it back. Like,
Ross, it's actually much more efficient if you just get all of the tea bags out at once. You don't have to put it back up every single time you do it.
Really?
And yeah, if you use this device, it should actually press the tea so it diffuses a lot quicker. So actually, I reckon this will only take a couple of minutes. I prefer it when you just kind of
bob it a little bit, because then you feel like you're participating,
Oh, well, that's fine. I also have instant boil kettles as well, if you want.
No, but then where's the love, I really like boiling the kettle for at least like 15 minutes just to make sure the water's really piping hot, And she's just staring at Neumann.
But I don't trust instantly boiled water to not stay boiled for way too long. Like, it doesn't
recycles the steam, if that helps.
No, just I feel like it doesn't cool quickly enough for you to be able to actually enjoy it. You don't end up with the time to have your tea.
I rolled a 2 on insight. That's a +1, a total of 3. What is wrong with you people right now?
I don't know, Neumann, but I feel like you and Sam should talk about the semantics of tea some more, Ross says as she sips her own tea that she has already made. And then she is going to look out the door and probably see like Caius and Bertie like in the doorway and just give the 2 of them a thumbs up. Just like, hey.
Right.
I guess we debate about tea.
Meanwhile, Bertie and Caius are finally getting a moment alone without their friends dying in the background.
Yeah. It's fair. Yeah, so again it looks like the garden that at Bertie's house. It's the same. Bertie and Caius have kind of practiced this spell quite a bit. Bertie usually casting it based off what Caius would kind of silly Mad Libs Caius would think of. Mostly the invisible servants, but yeah. I guess it's no longer raining like it was last time. But they're clearly not real because this is a magnificent mansion, but there's lots of bees and lots of the plants are flowering now. But yeah, and Bertie is quite quiet, I think. He looks a bit overwhelmed still. He just keeps looking at Caius, but just like kind of out of like the corner of his eye. It looks like he's just like trying to take very measured breaths to just be like, just to kind of ground himself, probably, I think.
Caius is similar. I think just sort of wandering around. I assume we're still holding hands.
Of course.
Because Caius would not let go.
The same for Bertie.
And just sort of walking around, and Caius is sort of like starting to say something and then stopping and thinking, almost like he wants to fill the silence.
Yeah.
And then he just... So, I miss this place.
Yeah. I missed you being here. We're pretty far from the real one, I guess.
Well,
This one's close enough.
in a manner of speaking. It's about what you feel when you're here.
It's true. I still can't believe you're here.
I keep thinking I'm about to wake up, but if it means anything, I don't want to.
It's the same here. Well, it's okay, because this is... He squeezes his hand. This is real. And you are here, and... You're back. Well, I told you I'd find you again, no matter what. So...
You did?
I've never been good for promises, but I kept it. We kept it.
Yes. And you can see him almost starting to tear up, and he's sort of moving his arms and shoulders a little bit more, and as he's done when he gets a little bit more agitated in a way in the past. He goes, I'm so terribly sorry about not... I saw you die, and I couldn't do a thing, and I'm so sorry.
Bertie does tear up immediately. It kind of looks like he was trying to be very measured. That entire time he's like... You did everything you could try to do. I'm so sorry you had to see that. It was... You're right, I didn't make it. And... The last thing I saw was you being taken away from me. And then what happened to you? I'm so sorry. That shouldn't have happened to you. You're right. I did die. And I thought... I knew something had sorted out, but I thought the last thing I'd see would be you. I didn't know what they were going to do to you. Caius. Do you remember when we went to get Teddy?
Yes, I do.
That's where I woke up. And I was alone that time. But it's okay, because it's not okay. But I'm still here. And you did all you could. It's the wizards that were the fault there. And it's okay because most of them are dead now. But I was alone for a while. And I knew I needed to get back to them, to you, to find you. And I didn't know what had happened to you or if you were dead, I guess. I guess, yeah. The others found me, so it was okay. I knew I needed to get back to you, so I found my old god again, the best one. And I made a promise to him that if he'd help me to find you, I'd spread his word for the rest of my life, since just me wasn't enough to stop you from being taken. So that's it. And I'm here. He gave me power, helped me reshape it, and made me stronger. Because I need to be stronger. Because I wasn't strong enough. And then the others found me and tethered me back down here again, I guess. You were gone. I didn't know what had happened to you for so long. I thought you were... It's fine, It's not fine, But I swore I'd make those that made that happen to you pay, and I have, and you're here, and So it's worth it, and... I'm sorry you had to see that. I'm sorry this happened at all.
When Bertie mentions making a deal with feathers, an odd expression crosses Caius's face. And it's there for a few seconds, and then it is gone, and he's back in the moment again. I'm just happy we get a second chance.
Yeah, a second chance. It's... This is a stupid question, I guess. Please, do you want to talk, or what can I do to help you? You beat up real bad, and you saw all that. I'm sure everyone's really excited to see you and talk to you. What can I do to help?
Honestly, you just being here is helping. When I got taken, there wasn't a lot in me that was motivating me to continue. But then when I heard your voice in my head again, everything sort of fell into place, and I knew what I had to do, who I had to be, and well, the only thing I had to be was yours.
Caius, hearing the messages from you was so good, but it's been so good hearing this, like having you in front of me. I just, I am yours, you're mine. I still can't believe it. And we're together again, like we're meant to be. I'm so sorry this happened to you, and I'm so glad you're back with us. This is where you belong.
Well, you know what they say. What doesn't kill you make... Oh, that's poor choice.
No, that's...
Should we go and get some tea?
We should probably get some tea. We'll get that sorted. Hey.
Yes.
I know this is a stupid question. You're probably not okay. Will you be?
I think I will be.
I'll make sure of it. This is all so much. We've all missed you very much. We should go get some tea if you should sit. Yeah. And he kind of looks Caius over a bit in a moment. He's been looking just very like big-eyed. It's just kind of like, yeah, that sort of like when you're on the verge of tears. But yeah, he just looks over and he's like, and just kind of like his like brows furrow a bit. He's like, what did they do to you? We should, apart from being here, tea's a good start. We should, I should patch you up. We should get this sorted. I'm sure everyone's very excited to see you there. Are you okay talking to everyone, or do you need space?
I've had my fill of space.
That's true. It's probably a stupid question. We'll go sort them out. They've probably made tea by now, and Newman's probably bouncing on the trampoline or made a tea machine by now. Who knows? We'll sort it out. But yeah.
Bertie.
Yeah.
Will you be okay?
he kind of just he was looking sort of over Caius's shoulder for a moment, and then he kind of just like looks and his like eyes meet Caius's for a moment, and it's just like just looks very small in that moment. And he's like, I will be now. You're back. Like you said before, I'd like to talk about that a bit more soon, but later. Like you said, when you didn't really have a reason until you heard, it was the same. Luckily, Fifth has actually showed me you, so that was a bonus. I at least knew you were alive, so that's a, yeah. I also saw you were in prison, so that made me very angry, and that's, he kind of like gestures with one of his hands. That's why I'm a redhead now, I guess. Yeah. But yeah. Let's go tea. That'll be a good start, I think, to being okay. Actually, I was thinking before we go in, you don't need to. I mean, later on, I mean, I'm pretty sure Newman's planning. He said he was planning a pillow fort. He's made an interesting one. He made a weird contraption last night. Actually, it had fireworks like we had back at your house.
Out of pillows?
Yeah, no, it was like a pillow. It was raining, which is a difficult thing to explain, I guess, at the moment. But it was raining, and he wanted to make like fireworks go off, so he made like a pillow floating, levitating thing that like let the fireworks go off. It was it's hard to describe. Maybe he can do take two. I don't know. It was very nice.
Don't understand how any of that works. That sounds amazing.
That's basically Newman. that's kind of him in a nutshell. So yeah, I mean, he's probably got a lot of cool stuff planned, I guess. So I don't want to stop you, but I was wondering later on tonight. Did you want to sleep together? It doesn't have to be in that way unless you want to. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I just. Well, you never stayed over before, I guess, back at the mansion, the real one, I guess, no matter how late it got and how many rooms I had, and I'd just like to hold you, I guess, tonight at least. I don't want to be apart from you at the moment, if that's okay. But if you, that's the thing for you to think about, I guess, if you want to. I probably have more privacy to talk then, too, I guess. I just think everyone's real glad you're back. We've all missed you real bad. I know I have.
I've missed you as well. I've missed everyone.
Yeah. Shouldn't have happened in the first place, but we'll make it right. You're here now. Yeah.
Tea!
Tea. Let's go.
Meanwhile, Anya, is there anything in particular with the Yadel thing that you want to run through?
So Anya, after she goes downstairs, she does kind of, at the bottom of the staircase, she leans on the banister for like a bit and takes a couple of breaths. Like she just seems very overwhelmed for a moment. And then just takes a moment to steady herself and clear everything before heading into Yadel and Promise. And wherever the debriefing happens, she scoots on over there. She keeps it very basic, but she does divulge the plan they had, that they managed to get him out, and just a rundown of the enemies that they did face and also of the path that they took. And she mentions to them, she's like, if there is any way to maybe fabricate a different path or any form of reconnaissance work that can be done to ensure that we were not compromised. I will leave that in your hands.
We'll see what can be done.
I believe we will be taking the night to rest and recuperate, but we need to act soon.
Yes, time is running out. But it is more important that your friend is rested and all of you are rested.
I will make sure they are ready.
Of course. Enjoy your evening.
And you. And Anya sort of, she takes a few breaths and leaves. And when she's walking back upstairs, instead of turning into Bertie's room, she does pull the window open and pull herself up onto the roof. And for a few moments, she just sort of sits there quietly. And then she sort of starts playing with her earring. And after a while, and a lot of deep breaths and a lot of sort of fiddling, she activates a charge of sending to Rook. And the message goes as follows. Hi, Rook. I hope you are both well. Something happened before we met back up. I didn't want to burden you. Can we talk soon? And that's it.
And you get a response.
Hey, Anya. Sorry to hear something's been up. It's no burden to me. Tell me, what can I do to help? Rook counts. I was like, shit, how many letters do I have left? Words do I have left? I think I have 5 more. She's just like, Do you need my assistance? And just a sensation of concern comes along with the message, and she waits for a response.
How many charges of sending do we have on the earrings again?
3.
I know we ask this every single time this happens.
So you have 3 charges, which in theory, like each earring has 3 charges. So if you run out, Rook could initiate
no, I'm joking. That's
3
a joke.
as well.
Yeah.
You could go for 6 castings of sending.
Full conversation then. Here. Awesome. Anya, she's like very tense. Obviously, there's no one around to observe her. She's on the roof again. She's in her element, but she is a little bit tense, and her response is just, I'm sorry for not telling you. I don't like keeping things from you. I knew you had more to worry about. Caius was taken. He's back. And that's it. That's the full stop.
Okay. So there's just a few moments of pause, and then you hear, Caius was taken. By who? He's okay, right? I understand, though. I mean, I'm assuming y'all rescued him? And just a feeling of concern.
So Anya, using her last sending charge, she says, we rescued him today. He is safe. I miss you. I hope I have a lot to say. Not many words left. No.
Okay.
And that's it.
I'm glad he's safe. I'd hate for anything to happen to you. Are you okay? The wizards, I'm guessing. They're... I think I ran out of words.
You have 5 more.
Oh, thank you! Many apologies for the horrible texting situation, listeners. Okay. They're devious beings. Yep.
Anya can't respond. Because she cast last sending.
Oh dear God.
You can double text her and then she can respond.
Yes, I will
Rook
double
would be
text.
aware of this. Yes.
Yes, Rook would be like, oh, damn, this technology. I wish that it came with, like, words that would pop up or something so you can keep track of it. Roy is probably rolling her eyes at Rook in the distance. Okay. And so Rook will get fingers to the sending stone and cast her own message. Seriously, Roy and I were working on her magic. We found a place. But, I mean, if you ever want to duck by or anything, I do miss you too.
Anya, when she receives that message, this sort of emotion passes over her face, that at first she sort of goes to mask over, and then remembering she's alone, she does sort of like wash over her, and it's this sort of combination of not so much sorrow, but just of like of yearning, but of like a little bit sad yearning, but yearning nonetheless. And after a moment, Rook would get the response. I hope you and Rhea are connecting. I wish I could be there. We will be making a move soon.
I missed you too. I wish you could be here with me and Royer. We're doing well. She's a handful, but a smart one. And hey, maybe we can talk more often. I could give you a good night text.
Anya, she flushes quite pink at that. And she responds, that would be nice. Give Rhea all my best. And all my best to you, too. I'll let you know when we start moving.
Thank you. You can be sure that my axe will be ready to take down Tavern. And in the meantime, well, sweet dreams, I'll have a talk every night. And there's just a sense of affection as the sending ends. And when Rook is once again going like, dang, now did that actually finish working? Royer, I really can't get the hang of these. Do you know a bit more about this?
Rook's like a 26-year-old boomer. Yeah. Anya, she probably stays up on the roof for a little while, and after some time has passed, she will then sort of crawl down and just very surreptitiously sort of sneak into the mansion and just sort of place herself in a room where a lot of people are, and let them eventually find her there.
Yeah. So let's jump back a little bit to when Bertie and Caius eventually make their way back downstairs, and Neumann, Ross, and Sam have the tea and I guess starting work on the pillow fort.
I mean, Sam, I'm just saying that I think Neumann really has a point, and maybe actually we should consider instant boiling kettles, you know? I think maybe I was wrong at the start. Newman's really swayed me. You know, oh, hi, Bertie. Hi, Caius.
I...
Hello. Tea?
Bertie looks between Ross and Sam and then looks at Caius and is like, and just kind of like knots his little brow a bit.
Okay, Bertie, I need you to settle this. Would you rather your tea now, straight away, efficient, perfectly boiled to the temperature you like it straight away, or would you like to just sit around waiting, doing nothing, wasting water, literally evaporating into the air?
You hear a message in your head as Sam casts message. You're welcome. And it's like an exasperated voice coming through.
Bertie looks sympathetically at Sam and then looks back and then turns back to you and is like, well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do while your tea steams, but what is your pitch, Neumann?
Well, today, Bertie, I would like to introduce you to the one and only instant boiling water kettle. Now, you see, it's far superior to other kettles because simply you don't have to wait. You make a valid point, however. Yes, you can do lots of things whilst you're waiting for the kettle to boil, but you could simply do those things after you have your tea when your kettle boils instantly. You're literally saving no time by doing things whilst it's boiling. It's just so inefficient. And that's what I'm here to fix today. I'm offering you water boiled exactly the way you like it immediately. No mucking around, no waiting. What do you say?
Bertie looks at Caius.
This is innovation. This is paving the future. Tea will never be the same. And that is the motherfucking tea.
Yeah, cool. That's a good pitch.
He like pretends to mic drop and just death stare Sam down.
What's Sam looking like, Darby?
He has his face in his hand. Just rubbing his brow.
You guys need to understand that, like, yes, you are getting your way, you are distracting Neumann, but it comes at a great cost. Your mental health.
Ross, like, looks at Bertie and Caius, and she's just kind of beaming as if being like, I have enjoyed facilitating this chaos. And then her smile just kind of softens a little bit, especially when she's, like, looking at the two of them. Just kind of nods a bit. And then she does go over to Sam, and she just kind of leans over and gives him, like, a kiss on the cheek, and she goes, good job, honey, and, like, pats him on the back.
Thanks.
What
So-
is Caius' expression?
For audio listeners, Caius was mouth agape, pointed between two figures, I'm assuming Sam and Ross,
Yes.
and then just closed his mouth and stopped pointing. With a very,
Yes.
like, I guess this is a thing now type
There was a
expression.
shrug in there as well.
Yeah.
As if like, alrighty then. That's the thing.
Well, I guess the long and the short of it is, Bertie and Caius, the water's hot. And I have very meticulously picked out a sampling of the majority of the fake teas in this imaginary mansion. So, whatever you guys... I couldn't remember what you guys specifically liked. I'm so sorry. I'm normally a lot better at that. But, I figured we could, have a little sampling if you guys wanted.
Ooh, tea sampling. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, you know, it kept us busy.
Yeah, that's fair.
So anyway, I think I remember this is the... And she pulls up, like, a little teacup that she was quietly making in the background. And it's just a Bertie cup.
Yes,
And
floral.
she
A
holds
tea
that...
cup?
I love it. That's great. But teacup, yes.
Amazing.
I'll put some slow claps this episode.
Yeah, and she holds that to Caius, and she goes, "Red roses, right? Did I get it right?"
That would be perfect. Thank you. And Dryas will take the cup.
And then, yeah, she'll hand one to Bertie as well, and just be like, "Your favorite."
Thanks. Good job, everyone. How's everyone holding up after the thing? Yeah, the mission we did.
pretty good, all things considered. Nooms?
Yeah.
I might be a little agitated. I feel like I'm ready for a fight. I'm sorry, Sam. This may have reflected in my behaviour recently. But I'm feeling quite passionate. I feel like we're making good progress. I feel like we've taken a massive leap. And whilst I am hurting on the inside, I'm feeling very good on the inside. As he gives Caius a thumbs up. As he says, it's good to have you back, buddy.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
As he coughs up blood.
Oh, no, that's...
Newman, come.
Yeah, that's not ideal. Do you need healing, Neumann?
I could probably do with some more.
Hold up, I'll take care of this, and I'm gonna walk over to Newman, and just sort of flex my muscles a little bit, and reach into the haversack that was there, pull out a little bit of bandage, and just sort of wrap it around Newman's neck. I don't know where the blood is coming from, but I hope this will help.
Thank you. Yeah. Cool. Do you mind if I keep it?
Of course, it's yours. 100%. It's washable as well. You can. It disintegrates, but you can wash it.
Noted. Thank you. It makes it extra special if it can just disappear.
It's like it was never there. It puts all sort of stuff all through your clothes for months after it, but the actual thing is gone. It's very handy in a messy kind of way.
Bertie. I have a pitch.
Yeah?
Well, you're going to have to recast expansion if we're going to use it tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, if people want to stay
I
here.
don't know how much people are concerned about the building side of the Pillow Fort.
Yeah.
But if the fun is more in the enjoyment of it, then might I pitch using the spell to make the most elaborate Pillow Fort?
Oh. Betty gauges the feel of the room on this suggestion. How does
I feel like
everyone...
this, timing-wise, this might be an opportune time. At least for potentially for comedic value, for Anya to walk in.
So Anya
Giant
would have
bird.
slunk in, like snuck
Yeah.
in.
Just
She's probably been sitting
None
there
of you
for
would have
about 5
noticed.
minutes.
Just
No.
Anya enters to the concept of the ultimate Pillow Fort.
No, she would have been there for maybe a minute or so.
Yeah.
So, like, if Bertie did like a sort of sweep of the room,
It's a vibe check.
Anya's face would just be in her hands.
It's just Unger just like, whoo! She just does a jump. It's like, oh no, that's just Anya. He says under his breath. And then Bertie's eyes rest on Neumann. What is Neumann's vibe of this suggestion?
He's inquisitive. A little bit intrigued, wondering if you have a permit for such a grand construction, and ready to offer assistance at his earliest convenience.
Excellent. And Bertie looks at Caius. What is Caius's vibe?
Caius has said nothing. His expression has not changed, but he is vibrating.
And then finally he looks at Ross.
Ross was also looking at Neumann, like, is Neumann going to be okay if he doesn't get to make a list?
And Bertie's
So
like,
she's waiting for Newman's vibe check.
yes. And Bertie's like, I reckon I can do that for sure. If you're like, he points to Caius and Neumann and Ross. If y'all could like plan a prototype for me, then as long as I've got like the plan, and you can draft something up. I can make something from it. So yeah, for sure, I can do that. But the three of you are going to have to have a little think about it if you want to. Since, you made the ones before, I ain't got no experience in making pillow forts. I just use them. Yeah.
Also, if people still need some more healing, I've got at least 1 or 2 more prayers of healing in me.
Yeah, I can sort stuff out with, my healing stuff, so it should be fine. But yeah, if y'all wanna, we can do that, for sure. Absolutely. I gotta bring this back up again anyway. Giant pillow fort it is.
Amazing. We can get the pillow club back together. And she baps Caius and Neumann on the shoulders gently. It's just like, hey.
Anya very softly groans, but very quietly. Bertie is probably the only one who notices, considering he is the only one who's noticed her. So.
Absolutely.
No, you go, Caius. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to know if you did change up the house. Are all your friends still here? The mostly invisible ones? Or do they disappear?
Yeah, no, they should still be here, absolutely, so they can assist with stuff. Yeah.
Okay. I've grown kind of fond of them. Daniel and James and Glenn with 2 N's and Frederick and Mary Ann and Mary and Anne and Sir Petersworth and Ghosty and Glenn with 3 N's. He's my favorite.
He's pretty cool, yeah.
Is there a Glenn with 1 N?
No, there was one, but we got rid of him.
Yeah, that's it. We scrapped
He was
him.
replaced with Glenn with 3 N's. It's a silent N at the start.
Yep, that's it. They're all very detailed. It's pretty cool. They're hiding at the moment, but when I bring the spell back up again, I'm sure they'll be back, so it should be fine.
Good.
Yeah, no, we can definitely sort that out. That'll be exciting, and I can probably cannibalize half of the house. I can still have some amenities and stuff like that. So, yeah, that should work. Yeah, absolutely, we can do that. Giant pillow fort it is. Good.
Oh, guys. We should not tell Anya, and then when she comes into the mansion, she'll be so surprised.
Yeah.
Surprised. I'm sure I will be.
Oh boy. Oh, it's Anya. Wow.
Hi, Anya.
Rovari.
I don't know why I thought you wouldn't be here.
Can I say something that may upset some people in this room right now? I don't understand the pillow fort thing. I don't get it. What is it with all the pillows? When I feel bad about things, I go sit on the roof or I go shoot something with my arrow. What is with the pillows? I don't understand.
We need to make sure to include a pillow roof and a pillow arrow range.
No. You do not understand the concept of the roof or of me shooting things.
I actually agree with Sam. Pillow forts, the whole reason around why I like it is it's a challenge. And if you think of a challenge of building a fort, it's quite difficult. What makes it even harder? Building it out of materials which should not be part of a fort. It's structurally just not sound. It's a puzzle, and we use both brawn and brain to solve this puzzle. The more problems we have, the more solutions there are, the more teamwork that's necessary, and the more people we can make happy. It brings everyone together. It's a fun thing to do, and a waste of time, which is a great way to de-stress and unwind. He says this immediately after passionately arguing about not wasting time boiling water.
Anya observes all of that and then just waits to see if anyone else is gonna chip in to the pillow fort thing.
Ross looks a little like, "Aw, Neumann," and then is like, "They're soft. Can sleep wherever you want." And it makes Neumann happy.
Reminds me
Good
of
to
better
me.
days.
Oh,
Anya, she kind of sort of sitting there, taking it all in a little bit. Just really sort of marinating in the answers. And she's like, okay. I get it for you. She points at Neumann. She's like, crafty thing, technical, wonderful. I get it for you. Soft. Excuse to spend time with people you love. I refuse to understand your reasoning because you don't understand the roof. And she just stands up. She's like, okay, what do you
The
need?
roof is solitude, right?
No.
You're right, I don't understand the roof.
it's okay. It's okay. Pat, 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 pat.
Bertie leans into Caius and is just like, basically the group have kind of adopted Sam now. Also, I forgot to mention, Ross and Sam are together again now.
Right. Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Except for the parts that don't.
That checks out. I don't understand half of it either.
I'm sure as long as they're happy.
Yeah?
And it doesn't become complicated in any way, it should be fine.
I'm sure nothing will become too complicated. They're two complicated people, but, yeah. I feel like I'm missing something.
Anya, who I'm pretty sure was there for that conversation, she grins. She just outright grins.
Caius does say that in a soft tone, not low volume, but just in a soft tone. So he's not trying to mean anything. I mean, he's meaning something by it, but not super maliciously.
Even if Caius was trying to sort of say it very quietly to conceal it, Anya would be able to hear.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So regardless, she's just grinning.
You okay about Pillow Fort?
Yes. If everyone's happy, then of course.
Then I guess we're gonna make a big Pillow Fort. Cool, that'll be good. Awesome. And if anyone needs anything, we've got food and stuff. I will sort it out. I'll cast this and it'll be good. And yeah. Cool. Alright. So you got plans or just a general Pillow Fort?
We can whip up some plans, can't we, boys?
Of course.
Already on it.
Are we?
Sam,
Yes?
sweetheart, love of my life. You haven't earned your way into the Pillow Club yet.
He looks incredibly hurt.
I'm sorry. It's me, Caius and Neumann, all right? We have a thing. You can do it next time, okay?
He sighs and walks off.
Sam!
Okay, they're probably still in a relationship. Hard to tell.
Anya leans into Ross and she's just like, don't worry, I have it on good authority that he likes it when you treat him like that.
What?
I heard that. I will literally smite you.
Don't worry,
Samuel!
Chris, I will not explain that one.
Try your best. Would make for a fun evening.
We should draw up plans.
Alright, so, is there anything that people would like to do with the rest of the afternoon and evening before the pillow fort?
If really during all of the pillow fort construction plans, the only thing Caius has drawn multiple doodles of various animals and wildlife, some of which are pillow themed. He's drawn a softer than usual sheep, and the only actual contribution he's made is to try and design a pillow trebuchet.
These are valid blueprints.
But otherwise, he's just vibing in the moment. Just happy to be around people.
They look really good, Caius. Ross points at the little animals.
Oh, thank you. Some of them are designed around pillows. Some of them I just got distracted. I started drawing an animal and wanted to put a pillow in, and then I got carried away and didn't put in a pillow.
Well, that's all good. Not everything needs a pillow.
That's very true. Yes.
Hey.
Caius is kind of momentarily perplexed by that. But
Hey.
he agrees with it.
I know we've all said it a lot. Welcome back, hey?
It's I've missed you all.
We missed you.
It was a long time. I'll be honest. I don't actually know how long it was, but it was a long time, and I didn't like it as much as. Well, I mean, I didn't think that I would enjoy it, but no, it wasn't fun.
It wasn't all that fun out here either. But we got you back. Well, you got out. Actually, can I just ask you something about that? It's not going to be like a deep, meaningful. I don't want to make you cry. I want today to be good for you.
Oh, I don't cry. I've never cried. It's fine. I'm solid as a rock.
That's a 22 insight.
I don't need to roll deception.
No.
Caius came in with the birdie talk, still wiping tears from his eyes.
Yeah. No, fair. I believe you. Just, did you kill those guards?
Well, I mean, there were some of them, that they fell because there was butter on the floor. You see, I put the butter there, but they fell. There were some others that I did hit.
Mm-hmm. I figured.
Times.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I didn't have any sort of weapons, and they had weapons, and I thought, well, I could use said weapons to get out. I didn't end up using the weapons to get out, but it was good to have, you know. Yes, and there were a couple that I sort of
Popped.
I mean, I wanted to sort of punch them to sort of knock them out, you know, because when you punch someone to knock them out, it doesn't hurt them. They just fall asleep, so it's fine. But they were too far away, so I punched them from a distance with a spear of ice.
A spear of...
Yes, but like a small spear, like a pointy stick.
Like a knife?
Like a knife. That would act exactly like a knife. Yes, I threw a knife made of ice at several people.
And that's why the blood was diluted.
The blood? What?
Oh, we thought maybe something weird had happened to their blood. It looked really thin and like weird and like not like blood, more just kind of like a red cordial. But like that would explain it if it was mixed with water.
Oh no, I didn't do anything to people's blood. I just threw ice at people.
Yeah.
I don't know how I could be clearer.
I thought you couldn't throw ice without cinder knocked.
Well, I mean, Cinderknock was around, and you know, I sort of lost my way a little bit, but now everything is well, it's I can throw ice again, I guess.
Oh. Okay. That's good. I think. If it helped you get out.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it did. It just made them fall asleep very quickly. You helped me get out. I didn't know how to get out, I'll be perfectly honest. My plan was to get out of the small box that I was in, and then I got out of the box that I was in to a larger box. And that was the extent of my plan.
Yeah, it was sort of like being in a box inside another box. But, you know, you got out of your... How'd you get out of your... Did the butter have something to do with you getting out of your cell?
No, that came after. That was once because I had a plan to get out. And then once I got out, everything else was just a blur. I didn't really know what was happening. I was mildly panicking because I didn't think I'd get that far.
Caius.
So yes. Well, no, it was weird because everyone had said that you know, the little box that I was in. I guess people were calling it a cell. It's just a box. The box that I was in, everyone said you can't use magic out of it because it's magic proof, and I said, well, I'm very good at magic, so so I just sort of tried it, and it just worked. So I got out, and everything is fine, and I don't know what the problem was. I don't know if the box was whether I was put in a faulty box, or I'm just that skilled at box escaping magic, and it just worked.
You broke an anti-magic field? You broke the box. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I didn't break the box. I just got
the metaphorical box.
No, the physical, the box, the cell, if you will.
Yeah, but like there's a metaphorical box as well where it's like the anti-magic, and you just kind of went like, and then you came out.
Right, I don't know what that means.
Right, okay. I'm not sure I know what I mean. But no, that's... Yeah, I don't know. I know you've been working on your magic a lot. I don't know. It's good that even with all that going on, you got to work on it a bit.
Well, yes. Well, I mean, I had a little bit of help, but it.
Really?
Well, I mean, yeah, a little bit. But it sort of all just kind of clicked.
Like
to get together.
Like a guard?
Oh no one would talk to me. While I was there was no one else in the area, and the guards were just sort of there. So I didn't speak to anyone the whole time that I was there. Well, except for Bertie when he would talk to me. Yes.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't. No one would talk.
Ross, she's been she's had this very curious look on her face where she's probing and probing and probing, and suddenly she just looks sad. She just looks a little sad. And she's just like, I'm really sorry to hear that, Caius. I mean, I'm sure that none of the guards there would have been very good conversation anyway. They're all shitty people, except for... Well, Sam wasn't really that's different. But, they wouldn't have been great conversationalists. You probably don't like the same things, so it's fine. It's good. But you're out now, and you can talk to us.
Yes.
It's good. We've missed talking to you.
I've missed talking to you all as well.
Good. Are you, I was going to ask if you're okay, but that's a silly question. I'm just glad you're here, and I don't know what else to say, I guess.
Well, I don't really know what to say either, other than I'm just happy to be here with all of you, and I look forward to, well, sort of getting out of here, and not being in desperate danger every waking moment. That would be nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But hey, and she it gives him a little pat on the arm, but then just kind of leaves her hand there, just comfortingly. And she's like, hey, if you don't have to, because again, I don't think any of us want today to be sadness and happiness are just two sides of the same coin. And all the happiness we feel about you being back just reminds us that we were sad you were gone. So it's a complicated day. But if you want to, I'm sure everyone would love to hear about all the help you had getting out of that little magic box. Because we all haven't heard from you in a while. We want to hear what you have to say. And if you had helped, then maybe, that's good to know too.
Yes, Caius is kind of lost for words for a little bit, talking about the happy and sad coin, yes, I think, well, I mean, I'm happy to talk about it if you want. I don't know whether, I mean, is that something that you want to know now, or?
No, like I said, I mean, everyone will want to know. And I know you don't like the spotlight, I know that, but you know what happens in this group, Caius. One person tells one person something, and then we all just forget we have to tell everyone else, and then everyone finds out and stupid, I never told you Sam and I are dating.
No.
The example! That just happened, and then Anya overheard, and Neumann found out, And I told Bertie, and I didn't know who knew, no one knew who else knew. It was weird, so like, you can tell me now if you want to, but I figured everyone will want to know.
No, of course I can tell everyone. Might be good. So that I only have to say it once, It's not a big deal, if that's what you're worried about. But are you okay? Are you happy with Sam? Are you happy in general?
Those are two very different questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, Caius, it's fine. In general, we're doing good things. We're getting closer. My home will be free. And we'll all get to go home. And God's willing, I will never have to deal with these terrible people ever again. And Karas will be free. And I can just live my life. And that will be good. We can all do that. And I guess it's less that I am happy and more that happiness seems like an option. Again. And when he's not mad at me anymore for the Pillow Club thing, Sam's a pretty big part of that. We did a lot of talking. We could stand to do some more talking, but that's neither here nor there. But I love him. He loves me. Everything else, we can make it work.
I do. That's very good to hear.
Yeah.
And Caius is just going to sort of bob his head a little bit, and then sort of do like a little jolted half turn to Neumann, who I'm assuming has just sort of been sitting in the corner like, what?
Yeah, he's been tinkering with Siggy, his robotic snake. And yeah, he's kind of just been twiddling thumbs. Kind of just feel like he doesn't really have a place in this conversation at the moment, so...
Sorry, Neumann!
He's just
sorry.
like...
I had imagined he would be...
pillow fort now?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I had imagined that he was like drawing up plans.
Well, he's made plans, but it is Pillow Fort relevant, but it's something that recently came to light, is that he has not asked for Ziggy to be in the Pillow Fort Club, and he's trying to come up with like selling points of how Ziggy would be beneficial to the team. He's been inspecting Ziggy, trying to find all positive traits. Did a little modification here, a little bit modification here to make him, more sleek, less likely to cut the lining on pillows as he drags them through the house, that kind of stuff. So, to be honest, it is going to help the Pillow Fort, he believes, because Ziggy would be an invaluable asset. However, he does not feel like it is the time to ask just yet. So he's wisely using this time to make his pitch as reliable as possible. So yeah, he will not approach until he feels like conversation is over, which he does not feel like it's over just yet.
Caius is going to sort of look over at Neumann and then start to talk, and then do a little bit of a double take at Ziggy. Like, oh, that's the thing, okay.
See, again, we don't explain.
And Caius will just pointedly not address the snake in the room. And we'll just be like, Neumann. Hi. Hi. I wanted to say that I missed you a lot. And I feel like we haven't really had a proper chance to talk or to hang out for a very long time, actually. And I wanted to apologize about that and properly thank you for this, and goes back into Anya's haversack, which Caius is now wearing as a little backpack, and will sort of dig around and pull out his the chest piece for his armor, and will just sort of prop it down in front of him and reach in, sort of in between the padding and the actual metal protection, into a little pocket that has been stitched there, and will pull out a couple of pieces of paper, and he'll look at one and just kind of linger on it and then shove it back in the little pouch. And it is the other part is a mostly like almost torn in half sheet of paper, a sheet of parchment with a hastily scribbled note on it. And it was the note that Neumann gave Caius when he departed after the airship crashed down. And Caius says, this was very nice. I read it a lot when I was away, and I kept telling myself that when I come back, we need to spend more time with each other, and then we never sort of did. Everything just kept happening. The world kept needing to be saved, and that was a mistake. I think I should have made time for that, and I hope that in the future we can.
I absolutely agree. You don't need to apologize for it. You had a lot of stuff going on. I had and still have a lot of stuff going on. And I guess, to be honest, these past few months I've actually been spending a lot of time just by myself, improving, tinkering. Yes, Ross did play a big part in that as well, but it was actually really good to sort of just focus on one thing instead of a million outside factors at once. So I don't think you should blame yourself for not catching up or not offering or anything like that. There really weren't that many opportunities, so don't take that badly anyways. And to be honest, I'm just glad you're back. I'm quite content with that. I will admit, you have missed a couple of spots on your armor polish-wise, which, there's always room for improvement, but, it always helps to have a second person, hey.
That's very true. 4 hands are better than less than 4.
Neumann breaks out in laughter, and then just casually comes to a slow breathing stop and goes, "God damn, I missed you, Caius."
I missed you too, Neumann. And I was sorry, you go.
This is Ziggy, by the way.
I was going to ask, but then I also didn't want to. Hello, Ziggy. Pleasure to meet you. My name is Caius Silvius of Durham.
You hear a as he sticks its tongue in and out, as snakes casually do. Friendly reminder that whenever Ziggy does stick out his tongue, it makes this kind of sound where there's like a toy you can move upside down, and it would have this thing fall down and make the noise. And yeah, I guess it will like slither up onto Caius's shoulder, and then onto his head, and just like curl up on top of his hair, and rests its head on his. He can understand. Comment.
Oh, got it. Right.
But
that's good because I have no
I mean,
idea
if you
what
want to keep doing the noise, Caius, it was really good. Like snaps to that one, but.
Well, I mean, I'm still learning, but hopefully I can replicate the language of what is Zigonia, maybe whatever the nation is.
Zigonian.
Zigonian. My apologies. If I can learn Zigonian, that might be beneficial.
Newman winks at Ross.
Ross sticks her tongue out at Newman and goes,
You're learning as well.
I know. I'm picking it up. Actually, Newman and I learned Elvish.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Newman will, I guess, say greetings in Elvish. He can't remember. Does Caius know Elvish?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's quite a dialect.
Yeah, we were learning at the same time, but then Newman kind of overtook me because he's really good at like the little books we get about it. So I was mostly learning by like practicing with Anya and Bertie, but they are very different kinds of Elvish. So mine sounds a little different than Newman's because he learned his very fast from a book. Yes. I don't have a complex about it. It's fine.
It's not that complex.
And on that note, we're gonna leave it there for this week.
Bertie just like opens the door, like just throws the flask behind him. He's probably been chilling with Anya. He's like, "Okay, kids, I got the plans. Gonna remake the mansion now. Come on, let's get the pillow fort sorted."
Anya just also with the drink cheersing him, being like, "This was your best idea yet. Keep the kids occupied."
Have a good week, everyone.
Have a good week.
Bye, guys.
Bye everyone.
I just realized, like, the fact that I am not necessarily going to be consistent between whether I go Bertie to Neumann or Bertie to Caius has ended up jumping into, like, fucking with Mitch again.
Yeah, cheers for that, by the way.
You've pretty consistently done Bertie to Caius, I think, which is
I panicked when you said me, and I went to like give a salute. I didn't know whether to do a wave or a salute. Two things. First of all, I stole your salute, Eddie, and I'm sorry. Secondly, I almost knocked water all over my computer keyboard. Just in sheer panic.
I do not own the salute. I just fall into it like a bad habit.